I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. It is cold out there tonight, and that's why we have the 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert in effect. You know, I was out last week, but Melissa, Chesley, and Danielle issued this alert last week to make sure you are prepared for this big time temperature change that came in today and will be with us overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. And with those cold temperatures in place and a little bit of moisture in the atmosphere, that cold air is just wringing out any leftover moisture that it can from the atmosphere, and that has been coming in some spots in the form of a few snow flurries. Now, on radar, not all of these snow flurries are showing up because it is just so light out there. So even though we're not seeing much activity here on the radar image, there may be a few more flurries out there than what is actually showing up. Now, as we put this into motion, we had some snow flurries earlier on the north side of Atlanta, moved over to the east, and then kept on pushing away. We also had some in parts of far north Georgia. Now, radar is just showing a couple of little blips here on the radar where there could be just a couple of snow flurries that are coming down here. This over in Paulding County, a little bit in central Cobb County, not too far off from Marietta, North Cobb, North Fulton County, maybe there in the northwestern parts of Gwinnett County, and maybe even right along the north end of the perimeter there on 285 into Cobb County near the Dunwoody area. Just a couple little blips showing up here. And again, there may be other spots that have some of those flurries, but it's just not showing up on radar because they're so small, it's hard for the radar scan to kind of find that reflectivity out there. So that's just an idea of what we're seeing out there. But even if you are experiencing some of those snow flurries, it's not causing any problems here in the metro area. In North Georgia, we have seen some light accumulations, and with these temperatures that are so cold here tonight, going down into the 20s, there could be some slick spots developing in spots up in far North Georgia. As of right now, again, we're not seeing much as far as reflectivity over North Georgia. Now, we have been watching some of these flurries in parts of Tennessee trying to push down into Dade and Walker County, but not all of that is making it down even further into Georgia. It's just mainly up in those spots of northwest Georgia with a little bit of that activity happening there. And then south of I-20, we're not really seeing much here on radar either, but I have been getting some reports there on the south side of just a few flurries that have been blowing around here and there and in some spots, but still not causing any problems. Now, we're watching temperatures very closely because they are moving down to and just below freezing now, and they're going to stay below freezing, going down into the 20s here tomorrow morning, not getting back above freezing. We're thinking till around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning when we see those temperatures rising back above freezing. Now, here's a look at the cloud cover still over parts of Tennessee and North Carolina and parts of North Georgia. And with those clouds, we just have a little bit of moisture. And with that cold air, as I mentioned, it's just squeezing out any of that moisture in the form of a few of those snow flurries. And you see a few of those as we showed you there in Tennessee, moving into North Tennessee, also East Tennessee, and the mountains of North Carolina, seeing a pretty good bit of snow flurry activity coming down in those spots as well. Here is a live look right now at our tower cam that is at Arizona Avenue there in DeKalb County, right on the DeKalb and Fulton County line, and it's looking westward back toward the skyline here of the city of Atlanta, and things are looking pretty nice out there. We do have a few clouds around. Our clouds here started breaking up a little bit during the evening hours, and now we're seeing a few more of those clouds that are filling in out there right now. And again, not like any major moisture with it, but the cold air is trying to at least squeeze out a little bit of that moisture in those clouds too. Here is a live look at our tower cam at Northside Hospital, and we're looking down at the hospital, and we've been keeping an eye on this flag today. Earlier, it was blowing a lot harder with some of those blustery winds. Those winds have settled down just a little bit, still breezy, but just not as blustery as it was a little bit earlier. And of course, with that wind, it is making it feel a lot colder out there than those actual temperatures. And then this is a view up in Blue Ridge. We've been keeping an eye on this camera because in the mountains we've been seeing a little bit more snow flurry activity. I just got a video sent in to me Up at Lake Burton, up in Rabun County, with actually some accumulating snow that has occurred there in some of those higher elevations in parts of North Georgia. And at Blue Ridge isn't really seeing anything accumulating. They're not seeing anything really new falling down, but it's really kind of nice to see this with some of the Christmas and holiday decorations set up in the Blue Ridge area. Also, look at the flag there indicating some of that wind that we're watching up in parts of North Georgia as well. We do have a winter weather advisory in effect that does not include Metro Atlanta, but it does include parts of Northeast Georgia. So it's all these counties that you see in the purple color. So no metro counties are included in this, and this is going to be in effect until early tomorrow morning. It does come down as far south as Dawson County. It includes Lumpkin County, also White County, Union and Towns counties, Gilmer and Fannin counties, and also over into Murray County. And these are the areas that could still see some of those snow flurries coming down, and with this really cold air in place and now temperatures that are at or below freezing in many spots, there could be some light accumulations there, mainly in those higher elevations. But what we'll have to watch is any slick spots that could develop on the roads there in parts of North Georgia. And of course, it's going to be cold not only here in Metro Atlanta and North Georgia, but really over a big part of the southeast, with a freeze warning in effect that goes down to the Gulf Coast, over to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, here in Georgia, and it goes down into parts of central Florida too, and then into the Carolinas and up toward Virginia, where we're going to be seeing those temperatures that are going to be at or below freezing. And again, here in North Georgia, including all of these counties. Now, the only reason Rabun and Habersham counties aren't included in this is because they've already had freezing temperatures and their growing season is already over. A freeze warning is actually more for agricultural purposes. Once we get a killing freeze, which this may count as a good killing freeze for us, even with additional temperatures, it's coming up later on, later this fall and into the wintertime, the National Weather Service won't issue any more freeze warnings because we will have already experienced our killing freeze here that's going to be happening out there for tonight. For tonight, it is going to be cold, and we have that weather impact alert in effect through tomorrow, the early part of the morning hours, as we're going to see these temperatures dipping down to freezing and below freezing. We're talking about 27 degrees in Atlanta, meaning mid-20s in some of the outlying areas. And this will be our first fall freeze that we have had officially so far here in the Metro Atlanta area. So for yourself, you have to bundle up. You also need to bring your pets inside tonight. And if you want to save your plants from any damage, if they're potted plants, you can bring them in, do that. Try to put some mulch or something over your other plants outside. But if it's a summer annual, it's not supposed to live through the wintertime anyway, but if you want to try to prolong the life there and not get any damage there, add some extra mulch around some of those. And also for your pipes. Now, a lot of us who live in insulated homes or don't have any pipes, on the outside walls, you should be okay as long as the heat in your house is on. But for those outside spigots, you may want to put one of those styrofoam covers over them so that they won't freeze, because it's possible it'll be freezing long enough that there could be some damage to those outside pipes or spigots. Or if you have any exposed pipes under your house that cold air can get to, or even a faucet in your house that might have colder air on the other side of the wall, like if it's on an outside wall, you might want to let those faucets drip a little bit just to keep the water moving through those pipes so it won't freeze up. And also it relieves some pressure. If any water there tries to freeze up, while that water expands, it'll help to at least relieve a little bit of that pressure there so that your pipes won't burst. So things you can do tonight to keep you and your pets and your plants safe out there, and your home safe as well. We actually got up to 45 degrees today. That was around lunchtime or just after lunch, and then we saw those temperatures falling more during the afternoon hours. Our low so far has been 33 degrees. The average, let me go back to that, the average for this time of year is 66 for a high, and the average low is 46. So as you can see, our high temperature today was actually cooler than our average low. what we should be waking up to in the mornings. But we didn't even get to that number in the middle of the afternoon. So these temperatures way below where we should be for this time of year. Not record-breaking temperatures though. 26 is the record for today. Tomorrow's record is in the lower 20s. So as we get down to 27, we don't think that we will tie or break a record here for tomorrow. The record high for this time of year is 82. And still watching that rainfall deficit go back up now to just above 5 inches below where we should be in rainfall. Here's that a look at those temperatures from this morning at 35. This is showing 42 as the highest that we got today, but this is an hourly. In between this period between 11 and 1, that's when we bumped up a little bit more closer to 45. Now also at midnight, we were closer to 45 degrees. So that's when we experienced the warmest air of the day. And then look how through the afternoon, those temperatures are really falling. 37 at 4, 34 at 6. Now we're right around 33 and 34 degrees here, just hovering near the freezing mark. Here's a look at that current, and it is at 34 in Atlanta. We do have freezing in Covington, just above freezing in Peachtree City. Eatonton a couple of degrees above freezing, but Athens is below freezing at 31, as well as Canton. Marietta is also 34. Rome has been a little milder at 38. And then look at these 20s in Blairsville and also into Clayton. And look at the 24-hour temperature change. Now, if you were out last night, you may have noticed those temperatures falling quickly during the evening hours. Earlier, our 24-hour temperature change was around 26, 27, and 28 degrees cooler than it was 24 hours ago. Now, we're at about 14 degrees cooler than we were 24 hours ago because it started getting really cold last night. Athens right now, 20 degrees cooler than we were at this time last night. So yeah, that just goes to show you it was a kind of a bone-shattering day out there today, bone-chilling day with those temperatures falling so quickly. And it's not just the temperature, but it's also that wind that makes it feel cooler. 23 is our wind chill in Atlanta, 21 in Athens, 20 in Canton, and teens. It feels like the teens right now in Blairsville and Clayton thanks to that wind. All right, so watch the temperatures tonight. Going below freezing, we're thinking between 10 and 11 o'clock tonight, maybe closer to midnight, depending on the cloud cover out there. And then by tomorrow morning, we're going to be at 27 here in the city, 25 in Duluth, 25 in Covington, 25 in Eatonton, 21 in Carrollton for a low. Very chilly. And then 19 in Blairsville, 21 up in the Clayton area, and 22 in Dalton. So those temperatures well below the average. Now, once we get to lunchtime, you see how they move back up into the 40s, still chilly, and then afternoon temperatures around 48, a little bit warmer than we were out there for today. And this is going to be the beginning of the warming trend. So this is just that, a cold snap, not lasting all winter long. This is just a quick cool down, a quick burst of really cold air, and then it's going to start warming up. We're up to 48 tomorrow. Then on Wednesday morning, we're not going to be at or below freezing. We'll be at about 38, and then 34 in Duluth, 33 in Canton, below freezing right there in Blairsville. So pretty much all of us except for far north Georgia staying just above freezing. And then we warm up even more on Wednesday, getting up into the 60s. So we go from 40s for highs tomorrow, then mid-60s for highs on Wednesday, upper 60s on Thursday, then 70s return on Friday as well as on Saturday. So yeah, a lot warmer air moving in as we watch those temperatures, again, not as cool going into Thursday morning. So here's the planner for tomorrow, 27 to start, plenty of sunshine during the day, warming up to 48 here in the afternoon. Now the forecast track, not showing a lot. We have some of those flurries up in North Georgia possible during the overnight hours, then clearing out overnight. And then this is where it gets kind of boring on this forecast track. You're just seeing the time change there over my head without any real weather happening here. It's going to be chilly. We'll still have some wind, but not as windy during the day tomorrow. And then continuing to warm during the day on Wednesday, maybe a couple of clouds mixing in here and there, but no rain. And it's going to stay rain-free, we think, for the rest of the week into the weekend. And then our next chance of rain comes in going in on Monday, but even that is just a really low risk for a shower going into the end of the beginning of next week. So here is that 7-day outlook with a low of 27 tomorrow, then a high of 48 with plenty of sunshine, a little warmer Wednesday, 63 for a high, then going into 68 Thursday. There you see those 70s, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that low rain chance coming back in on Monday at 20%, still with those temperatures that'll be in the 70s. So stay warm. It's going to be another cold one tomorrow, and then we'll actually start warming up a little bit more on the outside going over the next few days. Thanks for watching this extended weather update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We'll have more for you tonight at 11 o'clock on 11 Alive News, and then Chesley's back at 4:30 in the morning updating those really chilly temperatures that you're going to be waking up to.